always see Mel's ASMR. I think that's what it is. She always does them. It sounds good. So I'm gonna try it. So basically, I'm gonna be doing a ramble, but it's gonna be a little bit about personal life, but most of it's gonna be about UFC that just happened this weekend. I think what UFC 326, I believe. Let me check. I have my tablet here, just a cheap tablet I bought from Amazon. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it was UFC 326, Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. Alright. Now, let me go, before we get into about the UFC, let me basically tell you where I've been. So I think like last month I posted a video. And it didn't do that good. It's all good. I mean, 40 views is better than no views. I don't care, but I don't really remember what I said in that video. I don't even really watch it. But basically, I changed my name. I think I might have brung up the fact that I changed my name multiple times. My channel has been named different things. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to name my channel. And what I want to do with my channel, first I wanted to make it into just a normal ASMR channel. Then I wanted to make it like a reading channel. Like if any of y'all ever seen Let's Read ASMR, that's what I basically wanted to make it. I wanted to make it that. And then I'm like, I want to make a UFC channel, like ASMR talking. It doesn't really have to be ASMR, but I do like doing it, so it could be like an ASMR UFC channel. So that's what I'm kind of going with right now, and we'll see as time goes on. So yes, that is basically why I keep changing my name. So now it's not Awake ASMR. I try to make it kind of towards like ASMR-ish, and like UFC, not awake can mean like different things. You're not awake, you're sleeping, or you're fighting, knockout, something like that. Close to that. Yeah. So, but where I've been, I've just been, working. I've been busy with work, or my schedule. I work nights, so when I get off, I don't really feel like making videos. I don't feel like doing anything. Yeah, so that's really the big issue. I've been nights, so I've just been slacking. I also really haven't had motivation to make any ASMR videos, but it is what it is. I'm back. I'm gonna try and make more and more videos. Maybe like 1 or 2 videos a week. Maybe more if I'm feeling like it. Right now I'm working back on day schedule, so it gives me more time to basically make more videos. I have more time now. I'm not tired. Yeah, I've also started I'm about to start a jiu-jitsu gym. I need something to get me back active. My job in the military is not the most active job, so I'm doing a lot of sitting around, basically waiting for like more and more. I'm waiting for like just to be told to do stuff. Basically, my job is not an active job. Like I work on aircrafts, but I'm an avionic technician, so at least on my platform I work on, we're not the most busy, like when it comes to like work, physical work. Yeah, you do a lot of troubleshooting, but that's all on the computer. gym. This Thursday is my first day. Just learning the basics. I have like a simple background in, wrestling, and basically like, cringy, but like street wrestling or BJJ. Nothing. I'm not going in there acting like I'm top shit. I'm not. Most of my experience just comes from, growing up wrestling around jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. I used to wrestle with my friend. He was a state champion wrestler, but he was I knew there was like level to that shit because he would beat my ass. But like when it came to like street wrestling and like where you're not like trying to pin people, I would always beat him or it'd be close. So like it just really comes down to the sport, I guess. Like actual wrestling, I'm not that good at. But also, yeah, I'm just fat as hell right now. So if you hear me like extra breathing, it's because I'm running out of breath. Just talking. I'm 240. 240. That's insane. That's the heaviest I ever been in my life. And I'm in the military. They make us do PT now, like every day, or not every day, every like once a week. And my God, dude, I struggle with that. Like this is the biggest I've ever been and the most unathletic I've ever been. So it's really affecting me in every way, and I need to just not be like this. Easier said than done, but I'm definitely gonna change it. I can't be fat no more. It's not what I like. Being fat sucks. Sure, eating whenever you want is nice, but would you rather be fat or in shape? Some people might say fat. Some people might say in shape. That's your own preference, but me personally, I would rather be in shape than fat. I can't stand it. It affects everyday life when it comes to girls. Confidence, everything. Physical appearance. So, I gotta get back in check. Hopefully this BJJ gym will help me out. I'm gonna start hitting the gym a little more. Maybe I'll keep guys updated on my weight loss journey, but I am about to start it. I need to lock in. Every week I say, I'm gonna do it next week. I'm gonna do it next week. And now look where I'm at, the heaviest I've ever been because of my no discipline and laziness and being unmotivated. So, you don't need motivation to start. You kind of just need to do it and keep yourself in check when it comes to diet and all that. But yeah, I mean that's basically it. That's where I've been and what I've been going through, and yeah. Okay, guys, the next thing we're gonna get into is UFC 326. And let's just say that I am kind of disappointed with it. That shit kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. The main event was a bummer. I was expecting, greater things, but we'll get into that. So we'll just talk about the main card because I didn't even watch the prelims. I was sleeping. I'm here in Japan. The prelims started like 7 in the morning. I'm still getting used to my schedule, but usually if I'm working nights, I wake up and only am able to watch the main card that starts around 11. So I still didn't watch the prelims this time, so I'll just go on about the main card. So we have Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. They previously had a match. They fought each other before, and the Bruno guy, he knocked the other guy out in the first round. And then the same thing happened. It was a good fight. Not much to talk about it. Yeah, it was a first round KO. It was pretty good. I wasn't really expecting that. I've watched Rodriguez fight before RoboCop. I can't remember. I watched him lose. I can't remember who it was to. was a pretty good fight. Now, True Dober's never beating the allegations. The allegations when it comes to, if you know, you know. So, True Dober's never beating the allegations. It's all fun and games, man. But, that was a pretty good fight. Michael Johnson. I honestly thought Michael Johnson was gonna win. Supposedly, from what I've been reading online, that someone in his family got like kidnapped or something, and like they made him lose the fight. Like he basically threw the fight. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know. I don't think it's true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I don't really believe it. I don't know too much about it. I just read it online. But Drew won, knocked him out. It's a pretty good fight. Now let's go into the next fight. Raul Rosas Jr., Chewy, and then Rob Font. My God, dude, I'm not even gonna lie. Rob Font freaking sucks. And so does Rosas, whatever his name is, dude. He also sucks. They both suck. I don't know what the hell Rob Font was doing. That like he's a freaking old ass veteran, like in the UFC. You're gonna lose to the fucking this kid like that, dude. And the fucking Raul, dude. He didn't do anything the entire time. He literally took him down and just held him there. And that was it. Like nothing, no damage, nothing. Freaking Rob Font he was the whole time, the entire time, he's just sitting in a lower position. He was like crouched over. He was like stiff and crouched over, and he was just getting taken down so easily. I was like, what the hell, dude? Like, you're a whole ass veteran. This kid is like 21. Like, sure, age doesn't matter about fighting, but like, come on now, you've been in the UFC for how long? You've been in the top 15 for a while. You know, who knows how long, dude? Like, that's the issue, dude. Like, you definitely should have been a lot better than what he was. I was definitely expecting Rob Font to make the kid go through like at least a war or something. Like, what the hell? Absolute terrible fight by both. I just don't really, I don't understand that dude. I don't understand that fight, dude. Both of them sucked. The freaking Raul Rosas guy, he said, oh, I want to be a champion by then, by like 25 or something, or he wants to retire by 25. I'm like, dude, what's he in? I think bantamweight, yeah. There's absolutely no way in hell he's beating anybody that actually wrestles or like actually fights. Rob Font looked absolutely horrible. You give this guy again, you give Raul Rosas, put him against it. You can put Raul versus anyone, and in like the top 10 or 15, dude. Maybe not anyone, but most people are gonna easily beat this kid. I mean, literally, like he's in one of the most, he's like in one of the best divisions right now. Bantamweight has a lot of good people. Shit happens. Then you have the other one. What's his name? Ruffy. Yeah, he knocked out. What's his name? Fayez. I can't even say his name. Rafael Fayez, I think. I didn't expect him to knock him out. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think he was gonna win. I thought Fayez was gonna definitely win, but I can't bet money. Good thing I didn't. But then they all came back on the win column, so that's good for them. That's good for them. But Kaio, unfortunately, if any of them are gonna become the champion, I definitely see it being Gene Silva. Gene Silva's probably the best one out of all of them. Even though he lost to Diego Lopez, he beat Ellen Arnold. That was a pretty good fight. So I think Gene Silva will probably, I think Gene Silva will probably be the best, or most likely the champion. Ruffy is way too one-dimensional. He's not that good on the ground. As you can see, Saint Denis, absolutely destroyed him on the ground. So, there's better grapplers and BJJ dudes. Alright, sorry guys, my phone overheated. So, I had to throw it in the fucking, in the freezer. What's it called? Yep, I was recording a 4K. Didn't realize that my phone overheated. So like what I was saying was, like, Saint Denis, he literally destroyed Ruffy. Like, destroyed him. So, the higher you go up in the ranking, the better the BJJ, the grappling is. You have, they say Ilya Taborya is like some great grappler. I don't believe that. I don't think he's the best grappler. When he fought Charles Oliveira, he wasn't going down on the ground with him, like Islam Makhachev would have. So I don't think that Islam or Ilya is the best when it comes to grappling, like his fan base tries to say. But I don't think he's bad, but he's just not the best. I don't think he is. Until I see otherwise, like he struggled against, what's his name? Fucking Brand, what the hell is his name? I can't even think of his name. The freaking the country dude. What the heck is his name? I can see his face, but I don't remember his name. Let me see. Oh, Bryce Mitchell, that's what it was. Yeah, he struggled on the ground with Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell's a good grappler, but Ilya's bigger, stronger. If he's gonna struggle like that, imagine fighting against freaking Islam Makhachev. Now, so I think that Ilya he's probably good, but I don't think he's as good as his fan base makes him out to be. And that's usually what happens with a lot of these up and coming hype fighters. I'm not saying Ilya's up and coming, but the same thing with Conor McGregor. His fan base glazing, and then he lost to Khabib, and now no one's a fan of him. Conor's a good, boxer, striker, but he has great takedown defense. But when it comes to like grappling and stuff, he's not the best, and he gasses out really quick. So yeah, that's why I don't think Ruffy will be a champion. I think that he's good, but when it comes to like the top guys, the ones that wrestle and grapple and all that, I just don't see him being anywhere near the best. I don't ever see him winning a belt ever. So that's just my opinion, though. Now let's talk about the last fight, the main event, and how it was such a letdown. All right. So Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway for the BMF title. Everybody and their mom Max fight went. But I did see like something happened to Charles' neck. So Max won by doctor stoppage, or I don't know what they even ruled it, but now they're 1-1. But man, that was such a letdown. Now Charles Oliveira Charles dominated Max. He pulled a Islam Makhachev type style fight. Who else fought like that? Islam. Kamzat. Yeah, that's who it was. Kamzat. Islam. Type style fight. Even the dude in the heavyweight, Jalton, Almadea, or whatever. The heavyweight guy that got removed from the UFC, honestly, he deserves it. Like, how are you going to be that big and shape and be one of the most boring fighters in the roster? Like, a lot of people would defend him on the come up. Like, after his Derek Lewis fight, people would defend him, like, a lot, but he kept doing it. Yeah, when you fight, like, the lower class of UFC fighters, even though everybody in the UFC is supposed to be the best, they're not. Especially in the heavyweight division. There's just a lot of fat guys with power. And when you're fighting people like that, it's easy to look very good when you're already better than them on the ground, in the feet, when you're in better shape. That's not his fault, but that's the truth. When he got to better competition, he became a horrible fighter, and nobody wants to see that. So he deserved to be cut. Hopefully, in his next promotion he fights in, he decides, okay, maybe I won't fight like that. I'll take some chances and go and try to win convincingly. And but the letdown of Max versus Charles is just, man, that was just not what I was expecting from the BMF fight. A lot of people say that, like, oh, you wouldn't be complaining if it was Khabib or Islam, and honestly, yes, people would have, because the BMF fight, that's the baddest motherfucker, right? So, when you look at the history behind that belt, the people that fought for it weren't grappling and holding each other down for 25 minutes. They were scrapping. That was the whole meaning of the belt. So Charles to go out there and win that belt the way he did just kind of like loses the meaning of the belt. Charles has had some crazy fights. But like, just like, you're not supposed to fight like that for that belt. I'm not gonna say that, it wasn't domination. It was clear domination. Max Holloway needs to work on his everything on the ground. That's just really, like, how have you been in the UFC since you were a literal teenager, basically, and you still absolutely suck on the ground like that? Like, that's kind of crazy to me. So, I mean, it's not just Charles' fault, but at the same time, it kind of is, because, you shouldn't be fighting like that when it comes to, that belt. Now, a normal fight, a title eliminator, Justin get caught by Ilya if they ever fight. I think Arman would win, but it's hard to tell. I think he probably would get caught because if the Ilya Glazers, are correct about his grappling, he won't be on the ground much. But I don't believe that. I think that he will. I don't think he'd get submitted, but I do think that Arman would win on control time, just like he did against Charles, their fight. I do think Charles would have won their first fight if it was a 5-rounder, but it was 3, so that is what it is. Now, if they fought again, I'd want Arman to win. But yeah, I think that Charles' next fight probably will be Arman again for a 5-rounder, and it'll be for the title shot, even though he just had a title shot against Ilya, because Justin versus Ilya, whoever wins that, it'll be Arman versus Charles most likely for the next shot. I do think Arman will win versus Charles this time around, or again. I think he'll win again, but more convincingly, and hopefully they put the belt on the line. So if Arman wins, even though he's not the BMF, he never will be because he's not BMF worthy, but I want them to put that belt on the line. So, because I do think Ilya will beat Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is so sloppy when it comes to fighting, and I think he's definitely going to get knocked out. So when it comes to Arman, in my head, Arman versus Ilya, Arman will have the BMF belt, and then he can put it up. If anyone deserves the BMF belt, it'll probably be Ilya, because he does what he says. He knocks people out, and he strikes. He's gonna go out there and knock you out, or try to knock you out. He's not gonna go to the ground unless he's losing. Then I guess that would make sense to try to go to the ground, but he's not gonna usually do that. So yeah, I think that technically Ilya is the BMF. He beat Max. He knocked Max out, but the belt was not up for it, even though it should have been. But yeah, I think that if Charles versus Arman for the BMF, then when Justin versus Ilya, winner, of those two fights, they fight each other, boom. Because Ilya or Justin deserve the BMF, because the BMF, Justin definitely, if anyone really deserves it, it's Justin Gaethje, because he's straight up like the BMF. He goes out and just swings, man. He don't even care. But he's not gonna. I don't think he was gonna win against Ilya. So, but yeah, that's I just that fight was such a letdown. I know people that like UFC and watch this, might not agree with it, but it was such a letdown. The BMF, like I said, we're supposed to fight for that shit, not grapple. It's not the BJJ belt, man. Come on. Nobody wanted to see that happen. Only people that are happy that happened are Charles fans, man. Yeah. But anyways, guys, that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next video, and tell me if you like the microphone up close, or if you want it back to normal, like further away. Personally, I like holding it. It's easier to record, but just give me what you like. Tell me what you like, and also tell me what else you want to see from me. I don't have to do just UFC or rambles. I can do, other tapping videos. Tell me